Welcome to Conversations with Miss Marcy, the podcast where we get real about relationships, culture, and the truth that shapes us. No fluff, no filters, just bold conversations that matter. Now let's dive in. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Miss Marcy. I am your host, Miss Marcy. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much for dropping by. I'm so glad to have you. And to all my continued listeners, thank you so much for all the continued support. And remember, everybody, share this podcast with your friends and them, your mama and them, your father and them. Share this podcast so everybody can be in the know and they can know what's going on. All right. So, we have a very interesting topic today that we're going to get into, and I am joined with a guest, and I will introduce my guest here shortly. But I just want to say that this is going to be a very interesting topic, and this is a topic that I wanted to bring somebody on who has children because y'all know I don't have any children. So I figure, I'm gonna have people like, who send voice notes in and who kind of wrote in or whatever on this topic. So this is gonna be good. This is gonna be real good. I'll go ahead and share with y'all. The topic is going to be how much of your past should your child be privy to, especially once they become adults. Now, we're going to get back to that. Like I said, this is going to be a very interesting topic. You don't want to miss it. But for now, let me just go ahead and let y'all know that this podcast is streaming on all major platforms: Apple, Spotify, iHeart, all of them, just to name a few. So if you want to continue hearing this podcast every week that we drop an episode, go ahead and just subscribe and follow the pod. It's from me. I'm sorry. Follow, the podcast on whatever your favorite platform is. And if you are an Apple listener, which I have a lot of Apple listeners, shout out to y'all. Don't forget to leave a review and things like that because that really is really a cool thing to do. And I really like reading you guys' reviews and stuff like that. So don't forget to do that. So I'm gonna get into this mental health check-in real quick. Now, I hope you guys are doing well. This week has been, I'm gonna say it's been a pretty good week. I've been more productive. Like, I'm not gonna lie, at first I was feeling kind of like crappy because I just been sitting around eating and stuff and just kind of being lazy, to be honest with you, being tired, fat, and lazy. And I just felt myself just gaining all this weight and everything. And I was just like, oh my gosh. But this week, I, decided to get out here and walk and just be productive and just, just take ownership of the laziness, And I feel like once I started doing that, I feel so much better, so much better. And I told y'all last time I was getting my hair done and stuff, and I was putting on, putting my hair in a protective style for the, the warm months ahead or whatever. And I feel good that I did that as well because it's just like I needed to do that. I needed to do that real, real bad. Okay. But like I said, it's been a productive week, and you always feel good when you're very productive. You just don't feel good when you're just being lazy and everything. And I've been kind of, being more mindful of how I've been eating and things like that. So I've been feeling really, really good. All right. So that's that on that. So as I mentioned before, I am joined with a guest today. Her name is Miss Joy. Miss Joy was actually on here before, but she's returning to contribute to this topic today. Hey, Miss Joy.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's so good to have you back. I'm so glad we was able to reconnect finally. Like, my gosh, I know everybody, you've been busy, but it's so good to have you back on.
hmm I'm glad to be back.
Yes, yes. So, as I mentioned to the guests or whatever, I know me and you kind of had this conversation off record as well. And I just felt like, because of our point of views, I said, oh, this will be good, for us to talk about on record or whatever. And so the topic, like I was telling my guests, is how much of a parent's past should your children know, especially once they become adults? And I'm talking about things like past mistakes, life experiences, or things you've grown from. Now, do you feel like being open about your past helps your child, or do you think that some things are better kept private?
Both.
You said both?
Yeah. I
Mm.
mean, if you're in a situation where you've been there, done that, then, of course, you might want to share. But a lot of the stuff that you did as parents, you're an example. You're supposed to set a good example. So a lot of that bad shit you done did, why would you want to tell your kids that?
See, here's my
It ain't
thing.
none of their business.
Mm. See, here's my thing. Okay, so you feel like it's none of their business. Okay, this is my thing. I feel like, and I know I'm not a parent, but I'm just gonna kind of say how I think I would feel if I was a parent, and how I feel about my own two parents. So I would feel like it depends on what I've done in my past. Like, so if it's something like if I've ever sold drugs, if I've ever used drugs, if I've
That's what I'm saying.
ever,
That ain't none of their business.
well,
That
hold on.
that part ain't none of their business.
Well, see, hold on though. That's what I'm saying. Or if I've ever been incarcerated, if I've ever killed someone, or anything like that. This is my thing. I would share those things with my child. I'm gonna tell you why. Because those types of things have a way of somebody else telling your child. And one thing I would not want is somebody else spilling my tea to my motherfucking child before I was able to do so. That would piss me off. So I feel like me trying to keep that from my child, ain't no fucking way in hell they gonna not know. Ain't no way they're not gonna ever find out. And then what you don't want is to be.
Something detrimental as you going to jail. Okay, yeah, they could know that. Hell, it was probably in your life when you went to jail, or yeah, something like that. Yeah, but the other shit, used to sell drugs. I wouldn't tell my son that.
But
I used to be a prostitute. I wouldn't tell my son that. Shit like that. I wouldn't tell my son that.
I
Yeah.
see. For me, again, it if when my child become a certain age, I would. I mean, because I wouldn't want
So
them
you would
finding
tell
out.
your son you would tell your son you was a prostitute.
Yeah. once he, what? Listen. Once he's
No ma'am. No ma'am.
for real, look, once he's old enough to understand, like when he's about, I will wait till he's about at least 21, and hell, hopefully.
So you would be like, look, JJ.
Yeah, I was
Back in my day, I was doing some strange
thanks
things
for
for
some
some
change.
change. No ma'am. No ma'am.
Look,
Certain shit like that ain't none of their fucking
business.
business.
And my thing is this: I don't think your child should know every nook and cranny about your life. I promise I don't. But I do feel like things that they can find out that could be public record, or they can find out from another family member. Oh fuck yeah! Because by the time like I said, I will wait till my child turn at least like 21. But hopefully, a family member or somebody in the motherfucking streets ain't already told him the shit. I'm telling you, because I feel like you can fuck your child up when you don't tell them shit, and then they find out shit, and they be looking at you sideways like, damn, I would not want my child to be reintroduced to his mama, is what I'm saying. So I'd rather you hear the shit from me. I don't give a fuck how bad it is. I'm still your motherfucking mama, and I still raised your motherfucking ass. So you can't fucking judge me. You can't fucking judge me.
But the children of today will.
Okay, and
What I'm saying? Like, the children of today will judge you, even though, we got fucked up as kids. I don't know if it's the food, I don't know what it is, but these kids nowadays have, for some reason, it's a lot of anxiety.
yes,
It's a lot of depression. It's a lot of all of that shit. Now, you done told little JJ you was a prostitute. Bitch, she about to be depressed. I wouldn't be telling him no shit. Like, period. Like, certain shit, yeah, okay, I get it. But other shit that they really don't need to know, and even if a family member was to tell them, I would cuss the fuck out of that family member, because, bitch, if I didn't tell my son that, why the fuck would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, certain things, certain things, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm. And
I feel like you need to be sharing the good things, the positive things. Like, yes, son, I graduated from high school. Yes, son, now keep in mind, you're not fucking perfect. I mean, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have. He knows he doesn't have a perfect mom, but
Right.
certain stuff he wouldn't be even be able to fathom. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like, not my mom. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, certain things, and that goes with the yeah. No, no, ma'am. I would not.
It's a hard no, huh?
It's a hard no for me.
All
It's
right.
a hard no for me.
Now I'm gonna go over to some comments that I received. Some of these comments were actually through Messenger, and then some of them were actually voice notes that people sent in on this topic. So I'm gonna start with I'm gonna go to Curtis out of Nashville. Okay, so this is what he had to say. He said it all depends on the situation and what kind of relationship you have with your child. There's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He said there's a lot of factors on what you should share with your child or with anyone for that matter. He said,
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's situation is different. Some stuff should not be talked about unless you're ready to open everything up and be completely transparent. It may be good for some, but maybe not so good for others. And then he went on to say, just because you're an adult doesn't mean you're still not my child.
Mm-hmm.
Age means nothing. When you tell anyone something about the past, they don't no, he said they don't or didn't know. You better be prepared to explain it all, whether it's good or bad. It may change the way your child look at you, and it
Mm-hmm.
also may help your child. Some stuff is good to leave in the past, and other stuff is good to shed light on. You have to make the decision to expose the past or not. Just think if it will help by telling them or bring up more questions and hurt your relationship with your child. That's why I say it depends on the situation and what relationship you have with your child.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's some shit they don't need to fucking know. Some shit they're supposed to know how to live, how to motherfucking survive. You gotta work. I worked all my life. Yeah, you need to know shit like that. You gotta work so you can get what you want, what you need. But nah, your innermost secrets is still your innermost secret. Shit.
Hold on, wait a minute. You sound a little muffled there.
I say your innermost secrets is your innermost secrets. They don't need to go beyond that.
But some things are not even secrets, though. Is what I'm saying. Like stuff that can be public. Like the way this internet set up, it's some shit you just can't keep from your fucking child. Or they gonna have a way
Well,
of finding out. Just like when you know how people be finding out shit about their granddaddy and shit. When their granddaddy died, they found out he had like two more motherfucking kids. Some shit just has a way of coming out. And I feel like when it comes
that's
out, it
different
hurts
shit.
worse.
That's different shit. I'm talking about your innermost
Secret.
personal shit. Like I said, like you gonna tell little JJ you was a prostitute. I mean shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the rest of the shit, okay, it's give or take, but that type of personal shit,
Yeah.
your innermost secrets, your innermost, yeah, nobody ain't supposed to know about that shit. It's some shit you definitely supposed to keep to your motherfucking self.
So, mm-hmm.
I mean, your mama shouldn't even know it. Your daddy shouldn't even know it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we done all did some shit that no one knows about. So if
Mm-hmm.
don't nobody else know about it, why the fuck am I gonna tell my son about it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. I'm just like 50-50 on it. I am. I'm sorry. Because, again, my biggest fear would be another motherfucker telling my child my shit. You know
and
what I'm
then I'm
saying?
gonna deal with that person accordingly. And I'm still, I mean, seeing that it's up and it's out. Of course, if they ask me, I would have to elaborate on it. But as a rule, I ain't telling your ass shit. And just by chance, you found that shit out. But yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
no. It's a whole lot of shit that they don't need to
To
know.
know. And then this next one comes from Tish out of Columbus, actually. So she said, I personally don't think your children are privy to every single thing in your past.
They're not. Mm-mm.
As children, they also need to respect the fact that their parents are grown and have adult lives the same way they're adults and wouldn't share everything with us. So there has to be some type of boundaries in place. There are some things
Mm-hmm.
that you should keep private. On the flip side
Mm-hmm.
of that, you can always use your past mistakes, experiences, and things you've grown from as a
To
teaching
teach.
tool.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that plays a factor in that is the type of relationship you have with each child. As much as us parents don't want to admit sometimes, we do tend to parent each child differently. So if there's something that I know my child can benefit from that I've learned, I have no problem sharing it. And also, what is age appropriate to share? Some kids will benefit from what you have to say, and some children learn things the hard way. Although my child, and it says, although my children know that I'm a very private person, I have a very open relationship with each of my children. And I'm glad that they're comfortable in coming to me, whatever the situation may be. But overall, if it was something really important that would affect them, I wouldn't keep it a secret. So, and mind you, all the people that have wrote in or sent a message, they all have children. So I specifically wanted to get all of this from people who had children. Actually,
So they all kind of basically saying the same thing. Like, yeah, it's cool for you to share some shit, but you ain't about to share everything with them motherfuckers. No. And on top of that, these fucking kids, they'll be using the shit against you. And, yeah, no. No, you gonna know what the fuck I tell you, and that's it.
All right, now we're going to move on to the voice notes that people left. And this one comes from Tawana out of Columbus.
Yeah, when it comes to parents sharing their past with their children, I think ultimately it just comes down to what the parent is comfortable with sharing. Um, Me personally, I'm pretty open with my children, and that includes even my past as well. There's not much in my past that I want to try and hide. There's nothing in my past actually that I would want to hide from my children. Um, if my kids are navigating something, I might share an experience, a similar experience that I have gone through in the past, in hopes that it will help them in the moment. Um, but yeah, I do it in hopes that it will help my children make better decisions, and hopefully they'll be like how I was kind of, because I feel like I learned a lot watching. I learned a lot from other people's mistakes growing up. I was that child that was very observant. When adults would talk to me about certain things, I would take it and I would hold on to it and apply it to my own life in hopes of doing things differently and getting it right, hopefully. So yeah, when it comes to my kids, I am not opposed to sharing my past with them. I'm sure as they become adults and get older, it will be even more. Yeah, like I said earlier, there's not much that my children could come talk to me about that I would shy away from.
Our next one comes from Trevon out of Dayton.
It kind of differs from situation and from child to child. I believe that if you have some mistakes, your experiences can help your child out, but you have to know that child as well. And it depends on which topic it is. Some things I think that you can use your life experiences to help out your child so they don't have to make that same mistake. But on the other hand, if it's some things that's more private, some things probably should be kept in house. So it's a matter of knowing your own child and knowing your own situation and what you want to share. And sometimes you have to be careful because some things that you can use, your child can do the same thing, then use it against you later on and say, well, you did it, so why can't I? So you have to kind of be careful and know your child. And like I said, the situation before you actually divulge what all that you want to say.
Now, this one comes from my mom.
It's important that when kids are growing, your child, when the kids get to growing up, and especially if it's got something to do with them, don't keep nothing from them. Tell them everything, because somebody in the family somewhere on the land, somebody gonna run their mouth. So it's best to go ahead and be open and honest with them. When your kids are growing up, when they get at the age where they want to know and they get to asking questions, just tell them the truth. Be honest with anything that happened in your past and your present. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mom. Let's see. Who else we got? All right, let's go with Lee out of Columbus.
I would want to be an open book to my child, and I would rather she hear it from me. I agree with all that. Also, I kind of use the other parent situation as an example because of my personal situation. Like, my baby mother, she wrote a book, and she she exaggerates stuff, and you know, it's not all true what's in there about me and her. And she says, like, for example, she goes around saying she left her ex for me and I broke up her family. And none of that is true. They all were under the same roof. Not the first time I seen my daughter. She never moved out of his place. They were all living together until he got evicted. But you let her tell it, you know, I'm the bad guy when, she had the family and she had the baggage. So, but I agree with you. Yeah, I'd rather my daughter hear it from me.
Okay, I think he was more so that last one. He was more so talking about his personal like relationship with his child's mother. I get that too, but this is more about like your past as an individual. So I think he was more so talking about his like if a parent try to negative talk another parent, that might be a different conversation. All right, now let's hear from my cousin Aisha out of Dayton.
How much of a parent's past should their children know, especially when they become adults? Well, for me, I would say that knowledge is power. I don't go around vomiting my past per se onto my children, but I do when we're talking, when we're having deep, intimate conversations, when I see my child struggling, when I have identified, a generational curse that I am trying to break and hoping that my child or my children will carry on that legacy, then I share my past as experiences and lessons. And so in my parenting, I have not held back, but also I have learned to share the truth and my truth in wisdom and in timing. So, no, I'm not going to talk to my 10-year-old about relationship things that I have gone through, but I will talk to my 16 or 17-year-old when they are forming their adult mindsets and maybe even doing things that they don't recognize because they're so much a part of me. So, do my children know everything about me? No. But have I shared many details about my past? Yes. And the reason why that I have shared them was because of experience and lessons and relatability and just helping my children to understand that before I was their mother, I was a child and I was a woman. And so when we are able to reflect about our life, good and bad, then we give ourselves the opportunity to continue to grow. And I'll add this. Not only have I been honest about my past with my children at the appropriate time, when circumstances allowed it, when there was an opportunity, I've also kind of made it my responsibility as their mother to own up to my mistakes. Um, I had never been a mother before them. And so, me becoming a mother did not all of a sudden make me this perfect human being. It made me a flawed human being who needed to work through past trauma, who needed to mature, who needed to heal, who needed to grow. And I just so happened to be their mom. And so, in saying that, there were a lot of times that I just did not get it right as a mother. And I had to go back and I had to own that with my children. And I had to apologize and I had to ask for forgiveness. And so not only have I been open and transparent about, things in my past, I've also been open and transparent about not being perfect, with the hopes that my children can have the growth mindset, that they have empathy, that they don't see the world through a lens or a filter that is not reality. Reality is relationship at any capacity takes work. And often we'll just relate that to a marriage. But it is even more so important for our children, um, for our siblings, for our spouses, for our parents. We have to work through those things. And the biggest part of it is that there is no blueprint or manuscript. We have to be honest. We have to be mature enough to look at ourselves and know that we are in control of changing ourselves. And hopefully, when we show up as the best version of who we are, then it inspires those that we love the most.
So beautifully put, cousin. So beautifully put. I love the way she articulated that. All right. And last but not least, let's hear from my sister.
It depends. I guess it depends on you and the relationship you have with your child, how far you can go back. But if you can go back as far as you want to go back with your kids, you know what I'm saying? It's just on you as being a parent, what you want them to know and what you don't want them to know. But if you've been pretty good in your life of being a parent and everything, most of the time everything that you had done in your life, I don't think you should mostly hide it from them. Because eventually they'll find out in one way or another. If you ain't got family members telling your story, old friends telling your story for you. So it shouldn't be too much of a shame. You shouldn't be too much of a shame of your past with your kids, so they can know not to make the same mistakes. That's why you tell them, because everything happens for a reason. Experiences is the best teacher in the world, and then you can teach them, I done this and you see the outcome came to this, but this happened, and that's how you can express yourself about teaching your kids right and wrong. Don't make the same mistakes you made or do better than you did. That's how I feel. I don't need nobody else telling my story about what I done and what I didn't do and all that. Let me do it. Let me be the one to tell. You want your kid to know, I done this. I wasn't, am I right now when I done this? This is how I don't want you to do this. I always told my child, do better than what I done, and be better than what I do, me. And, life is full of mistakes, you know what I'm saying? And I just don't want you to go down the same road I went down, or, I'm always wanting you to do better in life, just certain things, you can tell them. You ain't got, like you said, you don't have to tell every nook and cranny, but most of the things that's out in the open that you done, you wasn't ashamed when you done it. You so shouldn't be ashamed after you die. Because the next person gonna make it worse than what you could tell it. And they can't tell your story. You only the one who could tell you the truth and tell your story. Yeah, and all that. Because it ain't no. Such and such told me, Mom, you did this and that. I such a can tell you. I'ma tell you. I done told you. So my child can be like, my mom already told me that.
Right.
Yeah, so, it's just different strokes for different folks here. I don't knock nobody how they feel, but you ain't going to feel no better, no different from what I am today than what I was then.
That's right.
What I'm saying? So what's in my past is in my past, and that's how I leave it.
All right, so we have heard from our people. We've heard from people through voice text and we've heard through text messaging. Now, I want to say, first of all, thank you to everybody who did participate. I just want to say that another reason why, if I was a parent, I wouldn't mind sharing my past with my child is because I would also want to show that growth, that evolution of a person, of me as a woman. I would want my child to know that, yeah, my mom was once XYZ, or my mom once lived a certain type of lifestyle, but look at her now, and I don't know. I would want that for my child to see. So anyway, basically your stance is it just depends on, what the past consists of, and what, I'm saying, what what's my reason for sharing it with my child? Is it to help my child? I'm not about to just tell my child just for the fuck of telling my child my business. You know what I mean? So maybe I see what.
But now, if you're in a situation where your child is doing the same thing that you have done, then of course you might want to say, "Hey man, listen, been there, done that," and give them some, pointers, or tell them what happened to you in that situation that they are in. But yeah, just out of the blue. 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna do a lot of shit that you done did. Times have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Kids don't even want to go outside and play.
Right,
Shit,
and they
we was playing hang go get it. These kids probably don't even know what the fuck hang go get it is. Like they don't need to know everything. Like they don't.
well, yeah. So my thing is, I just think at the end of the day, you just it's just I think it's kind of a, it could be like a slippery slope, just a little bit, just a little bit, because like I said again, everything is wide open nowadays. This is the information stage. You got other kids and other people that know shit. Like say for instance, going back to the whole prostitution example, if I was out there prostituting, somebody out there saw me, you know, somebody saw me out there motherfucking prostituting. So chances are they can't wait.
But that does not mean that you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. That does not mean.
But
that
look,
does not mean you have not changed over the years.
right.
So when your kids get here, that does not mean a motherfucker gonna tell your kids, "Hey man, your mom was a hoe back in the day."
But
like, no.
But you know what's crazy? Look, okay, and with that same scenario, you know how motherfuckers love to remember your past for you. So let's say like
absolutely, I just ran into one of those situations. I ain't even gonna lie. I just ran into a situation where, like I said, my past is my past, and a motherfucker from my past told a motherfucker that I loved some shit from my past. You feel me? Now that shit was dead, buried, and over with. You know what I'm saying? Like I was still kind of dealing with it, thinking about it from time to time, but that shit was buried. So I understand that because the motherfucker definitely bought that shit up to my loved one's attention. You feel what I'm saying? Like, bitch, how dare you?
They love to bring your shit up, especially if you done elevated, if you done changed. They always on the bring. Oh my gosh, that's on the bring. I remember.
Absolutely.
I remember this girl. She was an author. This when I was working at the hospital or whatever down there. And this author, she came and she was selling her books or whatever. And she was from Dayton actually. And I remember when we bought our books and stuff like that, this other girl knew her and was like, "Oh yeah." She was like, "That's good. She doing her thing now." Cause I remember, you know what I'm saying? Like people love to dig into the crates about what they remember.
Ass bitches.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But
that's
at the end of the day, even with that, a motherfucker is not who they were back then.
So
You know what
how
I'm saying?
how did you handle that situation then? I mean, how did you
How did I handle that situation? That for real, that situation pissed me all the way off. Right? I cried about it. I was definitely in my feelings about that situation. But at the same time, a motherfucker can't be mad because that's the shit that really happened. They kind of said the story a little off. You feel me? The things that they said was off. It really wasn't the identical shit that happened in the situation, but it was just the fact that it was fucking said to a motherfucker who loved me. You know what I'm saying? Like, did you really just rock hating ass bitch? Like, so I can imagine if that was your child. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I get that. But at the same time, even with that, that's when you would elaborate. You feel what I'm saying? But as a rule, you're not just about to tell your son, like, or your daughter, like, "Hey, man, this third, fourth, and the fifth happened." No. You feel what I'm saying? First of all, that shit is hurtful to me, so I know good and goddamn well it's going to be hurtful to you.
Well, this is my thing though. I feel like this. If I was doing some shit back in my day, you know what I mean? And now I'm like I'm on some grown shit. I done forgave myself. I done elevated in life.
That's
I
what I'm saying.
I don't give a
Hmm.
fuck about my past no more. That's my past. I don't live there no more. So what I'm saying is I'm no longer hurt about it. That's why I'm saying I could share it with my child because and it wouldn't just be on no, oh son, now you 21. Let me go ahead and tell you what I used to do. I was doing some strange things for
No,
some change. It
it
was
wasn't. It wasn't that I wasn't healed from it,
okay.
but it was just the fact that it resurfaced to
Yeah.
somebody that I loved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That just really that when shit like that comes to par, you have to take yourself right back to that situation. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
damn. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Like,
Mm-hmm.
nigga, is you serious? Did you really just tell? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But and then you might have to sit back and goddamn it cry for a minute and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, but if it was my son that was being told to, I would definitely still feel some type of way. And would I elaborate on it? First of all, like it's like a situation that's hurting you. So why the fuck would you even? Yeah, no,
But
man.
this but
If
this
that no,
This what I'm
no,
saying though.
no.
This what I'm saying. You see how okay, so when that person brought it up to your loved one or whatever, was that person trying to be spiteful or was they just
That
talking?
person was probably trying to be spiteful, man, because I thought that the guy was cool. You feel what I'm saying? I thought the guy was cool. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like to a certain extent the motherfucker was basically trying to be spiteful.
Spiteful.
You feel what I'm
Mm-hmm. Just
saying?
wanna
But
just
the
mm-hmm.
motherfucker was probably just talking just to be talking too. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, because of the fact I still, just like I would have never told my loved one that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So why the fuck would I tell my son that shit?
Right.
Why the fuck would I tell my sibling that shit? Like some shit that you had to go through growing up, learning lessons, doing whatever the fuck you do. You gotta do a lot of shit by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Cause you gotta learn from that mistake by yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man, no.
Yeah.
No. I wouldn't it's a lot of shit in my past that I have never told anybody nothing. And I would definitely never tell
To
my
your
son
son.
half
Mm-hmm.
the shit that I done stepped my foot into. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, never. What?
Mm-hmm.
Never, ever, ever. Because that gives a motherfucker, even though you're not the same person that
Person.
you was back then, right? But that'll give a motherfucker a reason or, to judge you, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, from your past. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, you wouldn't even last 10 minutes with me back then.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? Because you better be lucky I'm grown how I am today and I'm dealing with the bullshit you're doing now. You feel what I'm saying? So back then, I would have did circles around your motherfucking ass.
Mm-hmm.
So no, you don't. No,
I
no. There's certain things that you never tell anybody
body.
because it ain't none of their motherfucking
You know,
business.
I agree with
So
that. And that's why I said my child ain't gonna know I wouldn't want my child to know every nook and cranny of my life and my past. Fuck no. Cause I wouldn't like Tish said, yo, you ain't gonna know everything about your child. You ain't gonna know every nook and cranny
yeah,
about
you're
your
not.
child's life, because that's their life. And we all, individually we
Mm-hmm.
have our own lives. And like you said, it's a lot of things that it's just some things you just not gonna tell every motherfucking body. I don't give a fuck how close y'all. I don't give a
Yeah,
fuck if y'all
and then
joined at
you
the hip.
really even if you tell your best friend, right? Even if you had a best friend, you tell your best friend, you still ain't gonna tell your son or your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn, I just hit a lick on this nigga. You'll tell your best friend that, but you ain't about to tell your daughter and your son.
Yeah, because you got to be careful too. I feel like as a
Exactly.
well,
With everything.
I feel well, yeah, but I definitely feel like when it comes to having kids, and again, I'm gonna say this without having kids, but I can say this of being a child. I have my parents and stuff, and so what I'm saying is you got to be careful because you made me think about this when you said it's certain things you'll tell your friend, but not your child. You don't want to be what they call common with your parents, where there's just certain things my mother should not know about my life. There's certain things I'm just not
Mm-hmm.
going to talk about, with my mom about my life, because she's
Mm-hmm.
not one of my girlfriends. But so yeah, so it's like it's some things about my life. Yeah, I probably would share with a friend or a cousin or something that I'm not gonna share with my mom. My mom ain't my best friend. I mean, we cool, but I feel like to some extent that can be a little just I don't know. Even though I'm grown, I still feel like I'm not gonna sit and talk to my mom about my sex life. I don't give a
Right, and
fuck.
see, even to this day, right? Both
Yep.
of my both of my grandmothers, all during the time I was growing up, they were who they were. But when both of them ladies was about to die, both of them, it was shit like this. You don't even know if it's gonna eat you up or not, because both of them back in the day has had abortions.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't tell they fucking kids that.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying, like they told that shit in their last days. They held on to that shit until they was about ready to kick over. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to know. You don't need to know that you was the second child. You feel what I'm saying? Like, second, third, fourth, and fifth child. You don't need to know about these abortions that I had before you. Just know that life started with you. But the crazy part about it is when they both passed, before they both passed, both of them were saying something, and they was both talking about a little girl.
Mm.
And as things go on, and as I, looked into it a little deeper, you feel me? Both of them had abortions, and from what I'm understanding, it was both little girls. So yeah, certain shit like that, you don't tell people that shit. Prime example. That's the type of shit that you don't
Tell no,
share.
I do. I agree with that.
That's the type of shit that is still hurting you.
I agree with that 100%.
So
But
why the fuck, if it's still hurting me, why the fuck am I gonna tell my kids or my grandkids or my great grandkids? But that shit hunted them until their last days.
But see, here's the thing. So you just made my point. Now, like we said, it's certain things that you should never tell nobody, and having an abortion is probably one of them. But see, having an abortion is not public record. Having an abortion is not something that my child can go look up and find out on the internet. That's not public record. I'm saying stuff that's public record that I know my child can go find the fuck out. My child gonna hear that shit from me. I'm sorry if I've served time in prison, if I done killed somebody before, if I was part of some shit that I know the city know about, and they could tell my motherfucking child. Because like I said, I don't know why, but for me, I'm just strong on. And another motherfucker is not gonna tell my child about me before I have. I want my child to be out here like, oh yeah, I know about that shit. What and what? Like you're not about to blindside my motherfucking child
Well, if
because
you
your
kill
child be.
somebody, your life would. If you kill somebody, then in all reality, you would have had to tell your child because your life would be lived a little bit different than a regular life.
Well, maybe they wasn't here yet. Maybe my child wasn't here yet when I did
I
it.
mean, but still, you still would have probably been facing some other shit like hard to get a job or
Mm-hmm.
hard to do this or hard to do that. And, he asked, like, why is it so hard for you to do such and such? You feel me? Then you might want to, elaborate, but for real, nah, they don't need to know shit.
Cause
And it ain't none
I'm
of their fucking
Cause
business.
I'm gonna
Fuck
be
them.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's some parents that do hide shit from their kids, and I'm gonna tell you what it shows up as. It shows up as being strict as fuck ass parents. It shows up as, oh, let me
Because
let
you
me
know what?
shelter
Because they know what they've done.
done right.
And they've known what they have been able to do, and they know how their parents was, and they know how they said they was not going to be like their parents. They're not going to be like their siblings. So of course you try to put the foot on your kid's neck, and in all reality, your kids ain't perfect, and they gonna do what the fuck
They
they want
gonna
to do
do,
in the
yes.
long run.
But here's the thing when it comes to the strict parenting, and I brought that up because I knew girls who had, I'm talking about strict as fuck ass parent. I'm talking about to where you'd be like, damn, how can this
And them
bitch
was the
breathe?
prostitutes. Them was the
Yes.
prostitutes.
Yep. They were. I mean, they were they was the laying it low, spreading it wide. They was fast as fuck. So, so from me, what I got out of that was it don't pay to even be that strict as fuck because even being strict, you giving your child now you want your child curious as fuck like, well, what the fuck is out here?
But you can't judge because you could have a mom that was in the wrong place at the wrong time. You could have an innocent person that was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and a family member, did something to them, or they could have went out with a group of friends, and the group of friends could have did something to them. And of course, as being a mother, you don't want your child to go through any of those hurts, any of those pains, any of the. Okay, let's give an example. So, say for instance, a girl goes out and she's with her friends, and let's just say she gets gang raped. Okay. Okay, so here's the mother, and here's the mother's insecurities, and here's the mother's whatever. So you can't even really say that the parent is being strict. The parent is being protective.
Protective. Well,
so you can't even really judge a motherfucker on how strict they're being because you don't even know if it's some type of hurt behind that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no. Well, see, that's the thing. And overprotective is the word. Like they're being overprotective because here's the thing. At the end of the day, like you said, a lot of times, a lot of that comes from their own past. But that's projection. You know what I'm saying? That's projection. You're projecting your fear of what you've done out here.
And some people, once again, okay.
You're
if
projecting
it's projection, it's projection. Like, so what? Because at the end of the day, your thing is to protect your child. So if you are in a situation where you have not been healed and you have not,
but that's your shit.
Healed, exactly. But here we go. Let's talk about this. I don't give a fuck if it's my shit or not. It is my shit, and this is my child. And yeah, I'm still feeling what a lot of people's feelings and a lot of people's thought patterns is not like other people's thought patterns. A lot of people are stronger than other people. So just like something that fuck with you and you still hold, another motherfucker, it can just be like, all right, fuck it, it's done and over with. Versus you still hold that. Like, even though you don't show it, but you hold it.
Right.
So, yeah, no, my fucking daughter is not going to no motherfucking party with you motherfucking rat-ass bitches because, yeah, no. So, yeah, it's a lot.
I'm just...
If people are not healed from what the fuck they've been through, then yeah, it's not even far as being strict, as far as being protective.
But that's the thing. It's a such thing as being overprotective. They say too much of anything is a bad thing. Because I saw growing up with parents who were overprotective, guess what? The daughter still got pregnant before we left high school.
It don't matter.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the parent, man. It's the parent. Just like,
I'm saying it didn't stop nothing. It didn't stop nothing.
It didn't solve anything, but that parent is damaged.
That's what
so if that parent, you're not listening. So if that parent is damaged, right? That's just like, okay, let's get that same scenario. If I was younger and I went out with my friends and I've been gang raped or date raped, do you actually think for 1 minute that I'm going to let my daughter do anything? Because at the end of the day, I am her protector.
Right. And I get it.
Regardless of whatever the fuck she do on her own time that she ain't telling me about, I'm still strict than a motherfucker. Get your ass here, be your ass here, because I don't want the things that happen to me. I still have a fear of what happened to me might happen to my child, and I'm not having it. So it's like a mental break. Like I said, if they're not healed from that, then yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot of issues. And I would not say strict, I would say protective.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, and then even with the daddies done did so much shit to bitches. They don't want their daughter to go through none of that shit. Bring your ass here. Bring your ass here on time. Because they know they was a piece of shit when they was younger. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it all comes back to, it's mental. Is like I said, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, that the key word is healed. If you haven't healed from certain things, um, and I mean your healing is your own. That's your prerogative. That's
It's your
your
own personal
yeah.
journey. It's
Yes.
your own personal journey. Whether you want to heal or whether you don't heal, because this motherfuckers still out here that have not healed from their childhood.
Mm-hmm.
This motherfuckers out here that cannot motherfucking make shit happen the way that they supposed to make shit happen just because of their childhood. They was not taught those skills. They was not taught
Mm-hmm.
those skills to persevere and move on by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, I know, like, it seemed like when people, especially when people like pass away, like you start finding out all kind of shit. Like, damn, they was holding some fucking secrets, But
Exactly, and it wasn't none of nobody's
it's
motherfucking business.
business.
And now that they did, it still ain't none of your motherfucking business.
But
You feel what I'm saying?
But let me say this. Sometimes some shit hurt motherfuckers. And that's another thing I want to touch on. Sometimes are people holding shit in because they ain't nobody's business, or it's because they ashamed? Because you got to think about the generations before us. Remember, like our grandparents and great grandparents generation, they held a lot of shit and swept a lot of shit under the motherfucking rug. And then what happened? Eventually the shit came out in the water, in the wash, in the rinse, or whatever the fuck. You know how they say, if it don't come out, it don't come out in the wash. If
But
it don't
who
come
is
out in the
it
wash, it's
hurting?
gonna come out in the rinse. It hurt a fucking lot of generations. Motherfuckers is still trying
How?
to shit. People fucked up on some things. People finding out secrets. People finding like shit, like people finding out who their daddy really is or isn't. People finding out who's really, you know what I'm saying, who's really blood kin and who really ain't fucking blood kin. And that's traumatizing for some people. I got a friend, matter of fact, childhood friend, and this is no lie. She did the ancestry shit, you know what I'm saying, just for the fuck of it. And her dad did it too. And well, no, first she did it. And she came up with this match. This match came back to her. It was a girl who was a little bit older than her. And they were like super high in the DNA matches or whatever. And she
So
reached
it's
out
your
to her.
goddamn sister.
It was her sister. She reached out to the girl, but here's why I say shit is trauma. That's why when you that whole it ain't nobody's business type shit and there's certain things, I can agree with that to some extent, because when you start hurting other motherfuckers because of your shit that you got in your closet, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like that's where healing comes in, because you hurting other people now.
But
Because
here we
what
go
happened? Wait,
again.
hold on,
If
wait a
you
minute, wait
was
a
a
minute.
hoe, if you a man
But
and
hold on,
you
listen.
did that shit, that yeah. I mean, I get that
Look, the shit, but
wholeheartedly,
look,
but still.
but look, when the shit hit the fan, the young lady told my friend said, I think my dad is your father. The young lady said, nah, I don't think so. I know who my daddy is, blah, blah, blah. So my friend's father did the damn test. She didn't, but she had him do it. He didn't know why she was having him do it though. He did the test. Girl, sure enough, he was that girl's father. And that girl was traumatized like a motherfucker. And the crazy part is, she tried to talk to her mother about it before the test results came back. Her mother told her, "Don't." She told her, "I don't know him," because she asked the girl asked her mother if she knew my friend's father. She said his first and last name. Her mother said, "No, I don't know him," and let it go, drop it. Okay, right there, we know you was fucking lying. So when the results were, girl,
I just say right there, we knew you was a fucking
liar.
liar. Okay, okay.
So when the results came in, look, she said she didn't know him, but the test determined that was a fucking lie. And the girl lost it. The girl was so traumatized, and she cried and she cried and she fucking cried. I mean, she ended up
I
cussing
see
her mother out.
certain stuff is detrimental, bro.
Some
Like
shit, like, girl,
certain shit you do have to tell.
tell,
Prime example.
yeah.
Listen, prime example, my ex-husband. Listen to
Mm-hmm.
this shit. This motherfucker. Now, he was the only child from his mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he went to prison and he wanted to know about his dad. And here's the mom. He said, could you ask her about my dad? And I'm like, what the fuck? Why you don't want to? He said, because every time she gets in, he asks her about his dad. She says, you know, you're my baby. And if I don't have nothing good to say, I'm not going to
Oh
have
my
anything to
gosh.
say at all. So come to find out, girl, bye. This nigga was fucking his sister, had a baby. The baby was kind of fucked up a little bit.
Wait a minute. Which one was fucking a sister? Oh, the ex-husband.
Yeah,
Because he didn't know.
yeah. He was my ex-husband was fucking his sister and didn't even fucking know it and had a baby by her.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Certain shit,
yes.
Yeah, you need to, because they say blood attract blood, man. They say blood attract blood. And yeah, that was some crazy shit. And before, yeah, crazy. I literally had to tell him that was his sister because he had me going on this search for his father because he didn't have nothing, he didn't have nothing. She told me the name of the father. I found the father's name, found the father, certain little shit. The crazy part about it is it was another man who looked like my ex-husband, and I had told him, I always told him, you look like my husband. You look like my husband, and I'm just like, yeah, man, you look like him. And come to find out, that was his brother. He had all kind of brothers and sisters, but the thing about it was he was literally fucking one of his sisters and did not know.
Girl.
So yeah, certain shit like that. Yeah, when there's siblings involved and shit like that. Yeah, okay. Tell the truth. Fuck it. It was just a fuck. Tell the goddamn truth when it comes to that.
Why would she do
other
that?
Shit, yeah, no.
Why would his mother do that? Like, why didn't she want to?
Well, here we go. So we had this next little sip. Hold on.
Let me take a sip too. Hold on.
So here's the thing. She did that because, here we go again. So hurt people, right? Hurt people. So she was in this situation, from what I'm understanding, the man took it.
Oh.
So here we go. Why the fuck was she took? She's a teenager. She's a little girl. He done took something that didn't even belong to him.
Yeah.
So of course she's not trying to say shit. She like, fuck that. This is my baby. Fuck that nigga. So it'd be a lot to that shit, man.
How old? And that's the thing. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, how old was he at this time when he was searching?
Girl, probably like 48.
Now, here's the thing. So, okay. So that was a tough scenario right there. But here's what I'm gonna say.
That was a tough scenario.
But here's what I'm gonna say though. Remember, when I say when it involves other people, sometimes no matter how hurtful, how shameful, you got to go ahead and because look what happened. Now he done fucked his own damn sister, and now they done had a child.
Here we go. You don't know. That's just like somebody can steal my car, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, I got insurance. Versus you be like, somebody steal your car, you crying, you hysterical, you all over the place. You feel what I'm saying? Different strokes for different folks. Different people process shit different.
And that's true. That's facts.
people hurt different.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying? That
facts.
because somebody done took her little cookies when she was a kid. You feel what I'm saying? She done popped up with a motherfucking baby. You feel me? First of all, back then that was embarrassing.
Shameful to them.
You
That's what they
have
thought.
yeah, your child is a bastard, back then. You feel me? They talking crazy about you. They talking shit about you. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so why would you bring all that shame to your child? Like, don't even worry about it. I'm your mama. That's one thing. I mean, like, I understand that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I get it, but I don't get it, but I get it.
Like, I can imagine as well. But here's my thing. See, this is what I go. Okay, I asked how old he was because, again, I do feel like when somebody hit a certain age, it is okay to go ahead and see. That's what I'm saying. But
she wasn't letting up.
That's how that again, going back to the generation shit, those generational curses, passing that shit down. I'm not saying
she wasn't giving up. Even at that age, when he was that age, she was still not giving up, and she was still not trying to give up the information. Now, what happened was our auntie told the situation, and it's so crazy because she told the situation to me, not even to him, because the mother wanted that shit
very. I guess I feel like, and I'm not taking away from the victim. You know what I'm saying?
At this point, everybody's victim.
It's like, because that's fucked up. He ended up fucking with his own sister.
Yeah.
Damn, that's fucked up.
And then it's so crazy because I remember that shit like it was yesterday. The baby came out and she had a lot of health issues. And the mom basically was saying, that ain't my granddaughter, that ain't this, that ain't that. But as years go on, and we presented ourselves with that situation, and I told her, like, he was fucking his sister. The mom could not even believe it.
And it's her fault. I'm sorry.
It was her fault and his fault. And
no, it wasn't his fault. It was her fault because he didn't know who.
The boyfriend, the guy, the dad.
Oh, the dad, yeah.
Now keep in mind, the dad had a whole family across town. And yeah, it was crazy.
I hope that family is doing well today and they have gotten some type of therapy or something, because that's...
No, the daughter, the sister that he was fucking died.
Oh no.
It was so crazy because everything came out right before she died. I'm like, I hate to be the carrier of bad news, but bitch, you were fucking your brother. And they told him too, like, do you know you was fucking your sister?
Oh my gosh. I wonder how.
Don't send me on the quest being Inspector Gadget, because I done broke it all the way down.
Yeah. Girl, I hope he's doing okay. I mean, because he probably still had to take care of the child.
That girl grown now. They don't even fuck with him. It's just the fact of the matter of.
But you know what I wonder? I wonder, did somebody tell her who her mom and dad was to each other?
Man, they should have.
But again, remember, people don't want to tell certain things.
You're right. But I'm pretty sure they did.
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure they did. But I don't know. Don't give me the lane.
Damn, boy. Woo.
How can you be literally fucking your sister and not even know
no
it?
way.
Also, they say blood attract blood. You definitely gotta ask the motherfucker, who is your parents?
Right. Who is your people? Who's your nana? Girl, yes. I'll be on that kind of shit anyway, like, because my grandmother's side, that there's a lot of them, and I'm saying, as far as it's a big family. It's a big family. It's a lot of them that spread out.
To a family reunion, like, bruh.
And we don't know. I'm like, we don't know who could be who and what we don't know because they
But the
so
only good thing
distant.
about it, they say after the third cousin, it ain't no cousin.
Yeah,
Like shit,
but I still feel like shit. If
that's
we,
your cousin.
yep, if it's blood, fuck that shit. So it's like I always be mindful of shit. Like, is this motherfucker kin possibly like shit? I be asking who's now where your people from? They from okay, they from down south. What part of down south? You know.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's a certain shit is detrimental, and certain shit it ain't none of their fucking
Business, yeah,
business.
I agree. I agree. But I mean, like I said, my only thing is, like I said, if it's public record, yeah, I might have to go ahead and tell my child. But if it's something that nobody can really know, yeah, I'm not gonna. I probably wouldn't say nothing either. Mm-mm. So yeah,
Because you hurt the people around you, and you know some of that shit from your past, that shit hurt the people around you. Like, just think, nah, they ain't supposed to know none of that shit.
but what if somebody tell your child something about you and then your child be like, why didn't you tell me that, mom?
And I would tell them because it wasn't none of your motherfucking business. And I'm about to go check this bitch who told you because it was none of her motherfucking business.
That's one thing I will not
Period.
do. That's one thing I will not do. I'm not gonna tell somebody's child. I'm not gonna tell somebody's child they shit. Whatever I knew about them from their past. That's that parent's position to tell them. And what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna bring up what I used to know about a motherfucker, especially if they doing good. He doing good now,
And
girl.
that's what
Remember?
I'm saying, right? Because the person, say for instance, that was 20, 30, 40 years ago, that is not the same person
Right,
that you're dealing with today.
right, right.
That's not. No way, form, or fashion is that the same person.
Hmm. But I think,
So by you being spiteful and shit like that, yeah, that shit crazy.
yeah, you shouldn't have brought up them 20, 30 years ago. And then you know what? I would feel stupid bringing up something that far ago because motherfucker be like, girl, that was so long ago. You still thinking about that shit. You still bringing that shit up.
Yeah, like why was that a big imprint in your life? Like what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's the
You know,
first thing.
man.
That's the first thing I say about a motherfucker bringing up my past. I'm like, especially 20, 30 years ago. Damn, you still bringing up that shit. Damn, you ain't moved the fuck on. Nah, I mean,
But yeah, but that shit also made, like I said, it puts you right back in that same scenario, and it
now,
really makes you think about it, and it really makes you angry, even if you moved on from it, even if you healed from it or not. It's just the fact of the matter is why.
let's say this. Now, whatever I did in my past, if it directly hurted this person and they still brought it up, I probably can understand because like you can't tell a motherfucker how to get over or how fast to get over some shit. But I can kind of understand if they brought the shit up if something that I did to them in the past. But if it was something that was just affecting me in my life, like me prostituting, me being on drugs, or me being a fucking alcoholic, or me um killing somebody. If that type of shit, well, I mean that affects other people killing somebody. But I'm saying if it was something, if it was something I did directly to me, like yeah, why the fuck are you bringing it up? And I've been clean and sober, and I done healed. Why the fuck are you bringing it? But I'm telling motherfuckers is, I don't know, they just love
It's
they.
just the fact that the motherfucker just period.
Mm-hmm.
Leave my life alone.
Long.
Whatever the
Mm-hmm.
fuck I did is whatever the fuck I did. I gotta heal through it. I gotta go through it, bitch. It's not for you to even speak on period out
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially that long
Whatever the
ago.
fuck I did, I did. Okay, fine. I did it.
Mm-hmm.
But it ain't for you to say shit about it because it ain't got shit to do with you, period.
Or nobody's mama. Some people talk about people's mama. Oh, I remember them. I knew when they stayed on such, they mama used to be smoking that shit. Y'all remember them? It's
Like,
like,
why is you like my mama is recovered now? What is wrong with you?
like why the
Mother
fuck are you
just
bringing
paid
up?
your grandchildren. What's wrong with you? No, motherfuckers just be miserable as fuck. Don't worry about what the fuck they got going on. No, so why would I tell my son some shit like that? No.
And I feel like in the 80s and the 90s, a lot of motherfuckers You was either selling dope, doing the dope, prostituting. That's what the fuck was going on back in them days. So they ain't even nothing to bring up or throw up in nobody's face. Like, damn. But yep, motherfuckers will do it. So yeah, I think this was a very good topic. I think we covered a lot of ground.
It ain't none of their goddamn business. Period.
That's your story. You sticking to it.
That's my story, and I'm fucking sticking to it. It ain't none of their fucking business.
Well, Miss Joy, it's been a joy.
It's been a joy.
So we go ahead and sign off, okay? And well, thank you so much for coming on again. I'll have to have you again, okay?
All right, honey.
All right. Good night. All right, guys, that's it for today's podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow me on social media. All right, take care.